can see that on the Olympic sort of diving thing on the side of that mountain that they have when they had their Olympics here. They had the Olympic Games in Barcelona, and they had this fantastic diving thing constructed, which still is a part of the skyline. When you get the games in any place, it does change things a lot. This is the straight road that I meant, not even the motorway turned out to be that straight. So it pretty much ends up so that you are on Avenida Diagonal. This Hotel Rey Juan Carlos was the place I stayed in the first time we came here, but I wasn't actually filming then. All I have from that is some kind of memories. The second time I came to, that was a conference with Crow Horworth International Group, but this is the second time was with a client who got us to come down, looked after us quite nicely, and then the third time was now. So I've walked into that Hotel Rey Carlos from the centre, from the Rambla area. One time, it was actually the night of the Eurovision Song Contest of many years ago. I didn't get to see it. So whenever I see some Eurovision flashbacks and they include songs I never even saw, they're probably from that year, because as you know, I usually watch it. But didn't get to that year, and we basically did this long walk instead. Well, I wasn't used to walking back then, so my feet were killing me. Probably wasn't that slim then either at that point. In fact, I wouldn't have been at all slim. I suppose I had more youth on my side, because we're going back to, I think it was 11 years ago. Well, I know it was 11 years ago when we did that. And back then it was 2003, and I didn't film until 2000 and I didn't have any digital camera either. I may have had still one of my film cameras with films in it, and if I did, I may not have even developed that film, because I can't remember even seeing any printed out stuff of that visit to Barcelona. I just don't have anything that reminds me of it, so therefore I'm just down to memory, and therefore I remember that I came, but that's about it. And I remember a very nice restaurant up on the hillside, up on one of those hills on that side of the city, and meeting a few people, and seeing La Rambla for the first time, and seeing Sagrada Familia in the state that it was at that stage, which was not finished. I think it's probably finished now, or ready for at least to be visited. The second time I went there, I couldn't visit it either. Still wasn't ready, but this time it might be ready. Second time was, I think we visited about, I think it was last time would have been about 6 or 7 years ago. So 11 years ago, and then about 7 years ago, I think the second time was. But that was already after the start of. Already after the start of when I was filming, so that, like I say, there was a full record of that. And so obviously going to those, I mainly took photos, but some film too, and that is a nice, much fuller record of that visit. However, that visit resulted in two things. First of all, a colleague of mine had her computer stolen by a guy that came into the hotel. Then we weren't in a good hotel like that. We were in a rather cheaper hotel, sort of like 3 stars probably. And Guy came in with another bag, put it down next to her bag, took her bag. When he stood up again, she was on the phone the whole time. She didn't even notice that he was doing a bag swap. Basically had a laptop bag with a book in it, fishing for people's laptops. And got my colleagues, and also shortly afterwards, about several months afterwards, my credit card got also raided by somebody who was in a jeweler shop in Barcelona as well. And that was presumably something which they must have recorded it when I was here, copied it or something, and but left a reasonable couple of months afterwards in order for the I suppose there's several reasons why you would do that. First of all, to make sure that any holiday spending that the person did gets replenished on the card. There's probably be more on the card than there is during the actual holiday itself. Secondly, I suppose it means that the person themselves are not in any way implicated, and therefore, because they're back home, and therefore it's easier for them to claim that it's got nothing to do with them and get the money back off the credit card company without any fuss. If that's part of the thieves' plan, then I suppose it's a little bit humane. It makes a bit of sense. It means that there's going to be less complaints about it. Oh, we're here, Princess Sophia. Okay, so right, we're here. I better stop and deal with my bill.